Boom! We're live on this fine Sunday morning here, and I'm at home. It's nice to be home. The family is kind of starting their day. I woke up a little bit earlier than everybody else, so they're up getting their breakfast, doing their thing, getting dressed. Wife and I kind of have a date day planned where we're gonna go out to eat to an Ecuadorian restaurant that we really like in Minneapolis, and then we're gonna go down to the river and maybe go, go check out the sights in downtown. Just have a fun day of chilling and relaxing. Say hi to a couple of people that just stopped in. Don, good morning. Jerome Jones, Big Money's in the house. Red Diesel's in the house. Um, oh, the news of the truck. Yeah. That's part of being an owner operator, man. It sucks. Like, you never want to get that news. And especially, I mean, I've been through this. We're going on like 3 or 4 times now where some mechanic, some shop has ruined my equipment. Um, I've been through this process before. It's not fun, but it's just part of business though too. It shouldn't be the part of business, but it is. That's just the deal. Jerome Jones, what happened? I'll tell you what, Jerome Jones, go back and watch my video from yesterday. I'm kidding, man. Or maybe it was the other day. Uh, I had a wheel seal replaced, a wheel seal and bearing replaced on my truck. And the shop I had it done at never retorqued any of the bolts that are inside that connect to the bearings to hold the bearings in place. They never retorqued them. So what happened was when I started driving, the bearings were free flowing on the axle spindle. And then the other thing they were doing is they were grooving the axle spindle. So what it did was it blew out the wheel seal again, and I brought it to another shop, and my entire axle spindle is destroyed. Um, which is funny because the axle spindle is something that it can be taken off the truck, but it has to be cut off the truck. It's not a piece that's interchangeable. So you have to get things machined and re-welded and all kinds of stuff. So I spent all day. What day was that? Friday? I believe it was Friday. I spent all day Friday dealing with the shop here in Minnesota and the shop in Wisconsin, trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to get the truck fixed and who's responsible for it. Yeah, it's still, as of right now, I believe the shop here in Minnesota is like 99% sure they're paying for the costs of this. They ended up taking all accountability Friday evening. But I won't know until tomorrow morning. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Oser's in the house. Hey, Oser, I saw your comment on one of my videos. I was back over in your neck of the woods the other day. I'm going to have to try and figure out when you're over there. Maybe meet up, grab some breakfast or something. Yeah, I'm enjoying some family time right now. Like I said, they're kind of doing their thing in the morning. I'm an early riser. They're not as early as me. And like my daughter last night had homecoming. So she stayed out late with friends. And so she's still sleeping. But the wife and I kind of have a date planned for today. Like all day today, it's just going to be the wife and I doing stuff, um, which is much needed. And I know that sounds sappy. And I know I'm supposed to be a big, tough truck driver. But the reality is, it's nice to have those date days or date nights and stuff like that with your wife or husband. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said earlier, we have a lunch reservation at a Ecuadorian restaurant that we absolutely love. And where this restaurant is right along the river. So there's a river walk and some falls and stuff like that. So I think her and I are just going to spend most of the afternoon downtown hanging out. Um, Shannon Thomas Trucking's in the house. Good morning, Shannon. TBT USA is in the house. Jerome Jones. Damn it, boy, that sucks. It's hard to find a shop. It is so hard to find a good shop right now. And you can't, a lot of people left some comments on the video I made that make a lot of sense. The problem is when you're dealing with an issue at hand, the last thing you want to do is you don't want to be threatening. You know what I mean? You don't want to threaten lawsuits. You don't want to threaten the shop that you're trying to get to take accountability. You want to be professional, and it's very hard. It is very hard to be professional, um, and not get all up in your emotions. You know what I mean? Because when the mechanics at the shop in Wisconsin brought me out to my truck, and they're like, "Listen, we can't do anything. Like, we can't even put this back together for you. You're shut down. Like, legally, we cannot do anything, except fix this problem." Um, it's hard not to like immediately flip out. Um, I'll say the knot in my stomach, like my stomach started turning because I had loads booked. I mean, I got rid of $7,000, well, $6,600 worth of work I had to cancel. And anybody that knows this market right now, if you can make $6,600 in 3-4 days, like that's tough to give back. So I had to give that back and then figure out, it was a process. Try to figure out who's at fault here. And not allow them to blame simple wear and tear on a vehicle that has 600,000 miles on it, because we took another one off and the spindle's fine. So the problem lies with the work that was done at the shop. Say hi to a couple more people. Get long-winded here. Don's in the house. Sounds expensive. It is expensive, Don. You have to have a specialty company. The company that's in Wisconsin is Axle Doctor. And what they do is they're able to come out and like with lasers and machines, figure out how deep the grooves are, if they can just like kind of resand the spindle and smooth it out, or if they have to, like I said, cut the spindle off right at the axle and machine a new one. So it is expensive. I got a quote and I'm not going to share that right now because that's part of my next video. But yeah, it's expensive, man. But the reality is, say this shop in Minnesota doesn't want to pay for it, I have to pay that. Like that's what you have to do as a business, and then you handle it after you get your truck back. You cannot sit and wallow in the issue, in the problem. You just have to attack the problem. And the current market we're in, it's hard to think of spending that kind of money when you know it wasn't your, like it was nothing you did wrong to cause that type of damage. So hopefully you've positioned yourself to where you can absorb that expense, Wheel Burner Express is in the house. Good morning, chat. Yeah, well, good morning, Wheel Burner. I think I've seen you one other time in here. Maybe this is the first time. I do recognize your name from other lives that I watch. So good morning. And if it's your first time here, thanks for stopping by. We're just having a fun, quick little live. My wife is eating breakfast, doing her daily routine. And then her and I are going to go out for the day. Spend some quality time together. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. That was stupid. Jeff's in the house. Good morning from Nashville. Oh, Nashville, what a beautiful area. So I don't like how that came out wrong. I like the surrounding areas of Nashville, like Shelbyville, Murfreesboro. I love that part of the country. Nashville, not so much, and that's just because of traffic. Every time I drive through Nashville, it's always a headache. I would actually like to go to Nashville for a weekend. So being where I'm from Minnesota. Nashville is turned into like the junior Vegas. People from Minnesota on a plane and go to Nashville for a quick weekend. Oh, it looks like I'm freezing up here. My internet must suck. Bummer. Am I okay, guys? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if I'm okay. I'm home now, but heading west Monday. Got to get to Vegas for the big meet, September 29th to the 2nd. Oh, okay. Oh, so you're going to go out there, huh? Do you take a load out there and then try and find a load back? Or, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows Oser is works with the one and only Mr. Best. Or do you and him like go out there together? That sounds like a dumb comment or a question, but I wonder if it's like a business trip or if you guys plot where you would go out there with a load and then find a load leaving. Um, T-Bone's in the house. Morning, fellas and ladies. Good morning, Trucking with T-Bone. How are you today? Nobody pissing on your truck, I hope. Miss TBT is in the house. Good morning. Jackknife, what's going on, man? Just chilling this morning. I thought I'd go live just because it's been a while since I've gone live, and I like the interaction with people. I like communicating with like the community on this channel. I've learned so much. That's the thing. You know, I've learned so much from so many different people that I feel like going live only opens the doors up for possibly me learning something or me maybe even helping somebody. And that sounds kind of weird, but I'm at a point in my career where I've done this my entire adult life. Like there hasn't been a lot that I haven't seen or haven't experienced. So I want to try and help people, especially the new drivers. I would like to help the new driver or learn from the old driver or learn from somebody that does flatbed like Jackknife TV. Something that I'm not, I did flatbed for a long time, but haven't done flatbed work in probably 10 years. And I hope I never have to do it again. But I like to hear about other people's experience because the industry or like the things have changed so much since I did it. You know what I mean? And the other thing is we don't always have to agree with each other. Like I know some of the crap I say you guys fully disagree with, and that's cool. Like I get it. I disagree with some stuff that people say too, you know what I mean? But I will say on this channel, when we disagree, it's at least like we're not attacking each other. And I commend all of you, to be honest, the 14, 15 people that are in here. Even when we're in other people's chats like DIYs or chat or Cash is King, when we disagree, we don't attack one another. And I think that is a lot different than some of the other channels you might come across. You know what I mean? People are attacking people and no good comes from that. So I'm glad that doesn't happen here. Jeff, same. Yeah. That like I said, Tennessee is a beautiful area. And actually, I don't think he'd mind me saying this. I've developed kind of a friendship with Nick Velox 18, and he just moved out there and him and I were talking about where he lives now and how cool it is and the country, you know what I mean? I grew up kind of in the sticks and in northern Minnesota and then moved down to the Twin Cities when I was a little bit older due to my dad's job. And now that my family, like my extended family, is back up in northern Minnesota, I miss that. Like the older I get, even though I live in a beautiful community, I live in a very nice suburb, I miss like being able to walk outside and take a pee if you want to. You know what I mean? Like I miss the isolation. I miss not being able to see my neighbor's house unless they might have a light out in their yard. But I do believe where I lived was the right, like where I live now was the right choice to raise my family. But I do hope when my family, like my daughter and my stepson, are like living their lives that I can get back to northern Minnesota. That's my hope, anyways. I just moved back to Michigan from north of Nashville last year. Okay, Michigan's a beautiful, minus your roads. Michigan's a beautiful state, especially if you can get along. Like I was up in Traverse City, and then anywhere up on the UP, man. I used to go snowmobiling up there when I was a kid or like a teenager, young adult. Michigan's a beautiful state too, but that, you got the Superior National Forest up there, and that, like I said, that just brings me back to like my childhood, what I grew up with, where I'm from. I think that's why I like parts of the country that are like that, kind of isolated from big cities, but not too far away. And you can kind of live without intrusion. You know what I mean? Here's a name I don't recognize. The Bucky Show. Good morning. Keep calm. What's your little avatar say? Keep calm and something. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. The Bucky Show is in the house. Wheel Burner is saying hello. Yeah, like the rates, LOL. Yeah, Jackknife, you know, I probably come across like a pompous asshole. You know what I mean? I know that about myself. And yeah, I don't know if you're talking about you and I disagreeing about certain rates or how rates have changed in the industry since I got out of flatbed, because I know they have, and I see rates changing all around the country. The only thing I'm going to say is a lot of us, a lot of you that are in this live right now also follow and go to DIY Semi, right? Like the encyclopedia of trucking. Remember when we could throw a rock and get $9 a mile? Remember what he said? He was talking about us taking time and finding contracted freight when we didn't need to. Well, right now, I think the only reason that I am where I'm at is because of contracted freight. I am so grateful that I don't have to sit and work the load boards all day long. I mean, I might go on the load board once or twice a week. Otherwise, all my freight is either customer freight or based on people getting a hold of me because of the relationships I built. Um, the fact that I don't have to search the load board all day is a plus for me. And yeah, the rates, man, especially for flatbed, like Jackknife, I know, I mean, it's been a long time since I've done it, but I know all the work you have to do to secure your load and, stopping and checking your load. I don't know if you're throwing chains too, but like that's a lot of work, man. Tarping loads, and it's not easy, and you deserve to be paid for it. Like, don't think for a minute I'm saying you don't deserve to get paid for it, because you do. Because it's not easy. It's hard work. Wheel burner, get some cheaper cigars for 1 month and you'll be golden. LOL. Oh, is somebody spending a lot of money on cigars? Um, I used to smoke cigars when I was like 20. I had a buddy that was what was his he had some sort of title, and he worked at like a couple of cigar shops, and he knew everything about cigars, almost like a wine connoisseur. He was like that with cigars. And I started smoking cigars. Man, what an expensive habit. I mean, unless you're smoking cheap, like if you buy enough and you can walk into a shop and not have to buy one and you're smoking a, $3 stick or something like that. But man, some of the cigars I was smoking back then, because I had money, it's expensive. Smoking cigars and going to these cigar shops and drinking a little bit when you're smoking it's an expensive habit, man. Um, what do you mean you can't do that in your own backyard? No, Don. As you see in the background here, I got neighbors all around me. Um, I probably could get away with it because I have a lot of trees. My house, this part of the reason I bought this property was the mature oak trees and maple trees that I have. And I live in a suburb, but I have a double lot. So my backyard's much bigger than like my neighbors and stuff like that. And I wanted the mature trees, which is beautiful for our backyard. Like we get a lot of shade back here. So in the summertime, we'll set up, like we have an outside movie screen and projector and everything like that. So we can be out here in the early evening, with a bonfire, with a TV, or with the big screen TV, or movie projector, whatever the hell you want to call it. watching TV, and it's because of these trees. It blocks a lot of the shade or a lot of the sun. It stays nice and cool back here. But pulling it out and taking a pee in my backyard might end me up on a registration list or a registry list, and I don't want to be on that. Because I also live by a school. So like in the background here, if you look, there's a house right behind me. Right on the other side of that house is a elementary school. It's actually the elementary school that my daughters went to. So I have a school right, right by my backyard. Oser says, happy wife, happy life, wheel burner. I'm not married and I even know that. LOL. Yeah, that's true, man. If you saw I posted a video yesterday that I thought maybe I shouldn't have done because it was truth, man. It was truth about how I was feeling on my drive home. And sometimes, at least for me, and if you want to make fun of me, go ahead. I really miss my wife and really miss my family. Like, where I have a disconnect button though. Like, I'm able to disconnect and emotionally shut down when I need to be working. Like, I'm able to do that like that. However, yesterday when I was sitting in the hotel room and then decided to come home, man, all I wanted to do was get home and like hug my wife. So yeah. And you know what? I surprised her, which in turn makes her happy, which in turn allows me to keep doing what I love to do, Jackknife. The reason that nobody really attacks anybody is because we don't do stupid things or call out people too much. We might make hints about people, but we think dumb like that. Ego coach, LOL. Yeah. And I don't know coach at all. And I said in that video I made yesterday, sometimes we're getting the wrong information. Sometimes you are listening to somebody that is giving you the wrong information. And I highly suggest that if you want to be an owner operator or want to just be a truck driver in general, you need to take information from more than one source. I shared yesterday that maybe it was naive of me, but like, this is not easy. Being an owner operator and even wanting to grow. I've shared that before. I'm very close to growing my business. Which means I'm adding people. It's hard. It's hard. It's stressful. It is worrisome. It is because there's so many things that are out of your control. And the one thing that you really have to be good at is not worrying about the things that you can't control. Kind of like this incident with the truck in the shop right now. The fact that the dealership essentially has put me out of work. A dealership has destroyed my equipment. That is something that's out of my control. But I have to attack the problem and figure out how to deal with it in like a professional way when all I want to do is freaking choke somebody. But yeah, we don't say stupid things about people. And yeah, we might hint at things, but like, I'm definitely never going to say something about somebody that I don't know. Like, I might not agree with their business practices, but that's their business practices. And the reality is somebody's business practice that might seem like unethical or not right to you might be making them a millionaire. You know what I mean? So like, you got to be careful on opening your mouth sometimes. You know what I mean? I've also been punched in the mouth for opening my mouth and got a broken nose from hockey and fighting and stuff like that. So I've learned my lessons over time to pick and choose what I say to who I say it to. You know what I mean? Trucking with T-Bone. Roads suck, but I live in the country like you were just talking about. Well, good for you, man. Yeah, Michigan. I love Michigan too, but I'm a Midwest guy. You know what I mean? I like parts. Now, being from Minnesota, I'm not supposed to say this. I like parts of Wisconsin, even though I think they're still in, the early stages of like internet and more than two TV channels and still horse and buggy to get from point A to point B. I gotta say I like Wisconsin. Um, and be, like I said, being from Minnesota, you don't say you like Wisconsin, but Wisconsin's a beautiful state too. I like that whole corridor. You know what I mean? Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan. I can I can like parts of Illinois. Um, but I would say Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Michigan for the Midwestern states are probably my favorite. Um, Now I also like parts of like North Dakota and parts of South Dakota. Um, and I've lived in both. I've lived in North Dakota, and I like North Dakota because of fishing, and I like South Dakota because of like the Badlands and the Black Hills. Beautiful, beautiful parts of the country. But Jackknife TV says I like Tennessee except for Nashville, and I don't know nothing or and I don't know nothing that is good, that is bad. Just spent the weekend at the Loves in West Memphis, and I don't think I'll do it again. Yeah, Memphis can be sketchy too, bro. I've stayed in Memphis before. Multiple things. That's another thing too. Like new truckers, be careful of Memphis. Memphis is a lot like Chicago with low bridges, and it's not the greatest part. Like a lot of crime. But you know what? That kind of happens with anywhere that stays warm year round. I know Tennessee gets cold and you have ice storms and stuff like that, but you know, at least in Minnesota, there I mean, don't get me wrong, there's crime here in Minnesota, but not in the wintertime. Too damn cold. Too damn cold. The Bucky Show, keep calm and expedite. Oh, okay. So are you a expedited hauler? I've started doing a lot of LTL freight, and you know, somebody left a comment that said, "Hey, you made it look easy. Thanks for doing this vlog." And it's like, I'm glad I made it look easy because LTL freight, at least like OTR LTL freight, where you're, responsible for getting to shippers and receivers, you're not just dropping trailers and rehooking, um, is tough. It's not easy. You're exhausted. At the end of it, even though you might have only gone like 1,500 miles, you're freaking exhausted. Um, at least in reefer freight. But it's something that's paying right now, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And it's a customer, and I believe right now, and like I said, I know I'm not being pompous. I'm not bragging. I'm sharing my experience. The fact that I'll turn YouTube on and see people talking about shutting down their business and that are complaining about everything going on, which I get. And the fact that I'm sitting here and feel very comfortable with the way my business is running right now, I'm glad I'm dealing with these customers. Is it a pain in the butt? Yeah, it is. Like that LTL freight's no joke, people. It's tough, but it's paying me and it's keeping me. It's allowing me to make business decisions right now to expand and maybe grow or add new equipment like the trailer I just bought. Um, when other people are talking about going bankrupt, and I don't want to see that. Like I don't want any of us to struggle. We work too damn hard. I don't care if you're a company driver, an owner operator, 6 months into your CDL. We all work too damn hard to fail. Like I don't want to see any of us fail. I wish we could like thin out some of the herd, and I think we all know who I'm talking about. I wish we could thin out some of the herd, but I don't want to see any of us fail. Um, but Oser says Michigan literally needs to take their road repairs and road building as serious as Wisconsin. Yes, they do. Those those roads in Michigan, I'm sorry, I'm not knocking on you, trucking with T-Bone or Shannon Thomas trucking. Those roads I was on, I believe it was highway 75, parts of 94. Was it 96 or 98? Which was, I believe I was north of 94. You might as well just get a whole new suspension system on your truck. Like, I could not believe there was a road I was on that said I could be going 45 miles an hour. And this is no joke. I could only go 15. If I went 45 miles an hour, I was going to end up in Lake Michigan, or like my wheels were going to fall off. Like, I could not believe how bad the road was. Wheel Burner Express, directions to my house include turn off the paved road. Bro, so wheel burner, there's that song, what is it, Country Road Anthem or whatever. So that's where I came from, man. I'm from a dirt road where you can run that road 75 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't do it because you might hit a dirt bike or a four-wheeler. But and when I say four-wheeler, I'm talking ATV. But yeah, when the dirt road living, man, if you've never lived off of a dirt road, you're missing out. Like, there's something about living off a dirt road. And like my parents' home, their driveway is probably a quarter mile long, and it's windy, like through the woods. Like, if you have never experienced that or lived like that, you're kind of missing out on stuff. And I mean, that's just my opinion. That's a northern guy saying the sticks and the country is where it's at. Yeah, you're missing out. So Wheel Burner Express, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's something to be proudful of. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe you said, and I forgot where you live, but like where I grew up in the tundra. You know what I mean? It's northern Minnesota, tons of snow, extreme cold weather, and you're snowed in. So you have to have the right equipment to at least plow you out to get to that dirt road that might not even be plowed. It might not be plowed for a couple of days. So you have to learn how to survive that. And it's fun. I mean, hey pups, wanna come up? Come on. No? Okay. Jackknife TV, I know what you say. There's a great barrier shop. Sorry, man. I don't know how. Maybe I can't read today. I know what you're saying. There's a great barber shop that you can get a lift to, called Old Fashioned, that hang out at the casino, enjoy your crab buffet. Yeah, are you talking about over in Nashville or Memphis area? See, that's what I need to do more of. When I go places and sit, here's the thing. I do my best not to take 34s on the road. I run recaps all the time. I run recap hours all the time because I don't want to sit somewhere. Now there are some times that here's a trick that I do. Let's say I have a load that picks up Friday and delivers Monday morning at 9 in the morning. I run that load to where I might be able to get a 34 in before I deliver. I try to do that sometimes. I ended up taking a load to Shelbyville, Tennessee, which wasn't far. It was like 700 and some miles from where I picked up, and it didn't deliver until Monday, and I picked it up early Friday morning. So that's what I did. I ran down, got to right all like within 10 miles of where I delivered, and I took a 34. Went out, met another YouTuber and went out to dinner with him and his family. Well, I think we shared it. Velox, however you enunciate it. Nick. So sometimes I take 34s on the road, but I need to do more. Like when I sit somewhere for a long time, I'd like to go experience something. And I don't do that enough. And that's part of the isolation. I stay in the truck, or I go and take a shower. I cook a lot of my own food in the truck. So like I would like to get out and go to a casino or go to something else. Keep calm and expedite, Do you have to stay with reefer? Did take a dip there and It has come back a little bit, but it's not that bad. But dry van, flatbed are not so good. Really, the biggest problem is cost. Okay. Yeah. So reefer freight has taken a dip. Um, I run a lane that is from Minnesota to Wisconsin, and it's a lane that you anybody can pick it up, as long as you have a reefer. And that lane used to pay when the rates, we'll go back a year. You used to be able to get like $1,500 for this lane, and it was anywhere from 275 miles to like 350. Well, that lane now is paying about $850 on the load board. Um, I still get it for 1100, which ends up being, after you take out the percentage to the carrier, which is 10%, it ends up being about 295 a mile, 285 a mile, depending on what location I have to go to. Here's the thing. I had a conversation with a guy yesterday about hauling cheap freight. Now, this is where we're probably going to disagree, people. Okay. And I understand that. I don't like that term. I understand the term, and I understand why people say don't haul cheap freight. However, why I don't agree with it is cheap freight all depends on how somebody structured their business. You know what I mean? Um, if I see loads on the load board, I'll do this for example, and I'm not saying I would take this stuff, but let's say there's loads on the load board for $2.50 a mile, right? Somebody like me, and once again, I'm not being pompous. I'm not doing anything. I'm being honest with you. Somebody like me, let's say I call that broker and try to negotiate to get like $3 a mile or $3.10 a mile, and they won't budge off that 250. I can take that load at 250 and be very profitable because my costs are super low. I don't have a truck payment. I own all my equipment. It doesn't cost me much to run my truck down the road, where somebody else, like this person I was talking to yesterday, can't afford to take that load. So that person is going to call that cheap freight. That's not cheap freight for me because I'm profitable. And I'm not talking about money that goes into my personal bank account. I'm talking about my business. My business is profitable at that. So cheap freight to one person is another person's gold mine. And the reason I say gold mine is that $2.50 a mile freight gets me to where I'm going to get $4 or $5 a mile on customer freight. So cheap freight for this person I was talking to yesterday, that they can't haul it, or if they haul it, they're hauling it for pennies. You know what I mean? Which sucks. I feel bad for them. But somebody like me can haul that $2.50 mile freight, what they're deeming cheap freight, and be profitable. So it's all in how you structure your business and understanding not every load is the load you want to take. Sometimes you have to take the load that gets you to the load you want. You know what I mean? And that's something I had to learn. And I really think I learned that because of the mentors I have. I've shared before, DIY Semi, Cash is King. People that I also have I have a friend that owns a business that's not in trucking that I'm actually partners with. And I lean on him for business strategies that work in trucking as well. And I think if you're becoming new to truck driving or new to being an owner operator, you should have mentors. And if you're thinking about getting your own authority right now, maybe I'm going to get hate for this. Pump the brakes. Wait a minute. I would even tell you, if you're going to buy a truck right now, wait a little bit. Wait 6 to 8 months. Nobody wants to talk about us being in a recession, but we are. We all see it. Jackknife, I know you see it, man. I know you have stronger political beliefs than I do, and I'm not asking you to share them, but I see. I was a guy that wore blinders for a long time, and in the last 2 years, I have really opened my eyes to see what's going on and be concerned about what's going on. And people don't want to talk about it. We're not going to read about it in the news, but it's real. And I think right now, if you're thinking of getting your own authority or buying a new truck or buying a truck, pump the brakes. And I'm going to say something else that's probably unpopular. If you're thinking about doing a lease purchase with somebody, be very skeptical of a company that after 3 months being there wants you to get into a vehicle or a truck that's as much as a house in certain parts of this country. Because even contracted rates, once the spot market completely falls off, contracted rates are going to fall off too. You're left there with a big bill every week that you have to pay. Be careful. You know, I'm if you choose to do it, you choose to do all these things I just told you to be careful about, but understand where we are right now in the trucking industry and the economy. It's not the greatest. The Bucky Show says Jackknife, the dealer now has to do the work for free now because of the mistakes. Yeah, so that's what's kind of happening. All the work that needs to be redone, like I said, it's very expensive. And they're gonna do it. And actually, I think Jackknife, you left me a comment on my video about a problem you had with a water pump. I had the same problem, Jackknife. I meant to comment to you with the same company that installed your water pump. I went through the same deal. Mine was, I think, about 60 days after they installed it. And I fought with them. And I'll tell you what, that is a tough company to fight with. If you want to share it in this chat, go ahead. But I believe off of your comment, I know the struggle you're dealing with that company. This Trucking Life's in the house. What's going on, brother? How are you? This Trucking Life, if you're still here, man, I'm saying it again. Your videos are the best because there is so much information in like 3 minutes. I don't know if you guys watch This Trucking Life. Somebody drop his link in here. I probably need to give out more wrenches. I will do that right now. But This Trucking Life, it has his own authority. He's walking us through what he's doing as a new entry. I think he's got about 6 months now as a new authority. But his videos are great because he'll be talking about one thing and literally turn the camera and start talking about something completely different. It's funny. Okay, who needs wrenches here? Man, I'm behind. I'm sorry. Wheel Burner Express, add moderator. Where is the expedited guy? I know, enter. There he goes, the Bucky Show. I believe everybody else has got a wrench. If somebody else comes in and doesn't have one and wants one, tell me. I do Sprinter van. Okay. You know what, Bucky Show? I think I've seen now that you say that, you have a channel, right? Yeah. I think I've seen your video. I just started watching somebody doing Sprinter van work. I'm going to make sure it's you. Northern Michigan is beautiful, although I don't know. I tend to like mountains and hills a little bit more. The Ozarks between Missouri and Arkansas are beautiful. Absolutely, Jackknife. And you know what? Jackknife, I apologize. Like, I like your state too. I believe you're from Pennsylvania. I like parts of your state. Being from where I am, they're not the Rockies, obviously. I mean, I've been to Colorado. I've been out there, but the like the Smoky Mountains and the Blue Ridge Mountains, you start getting out into North Carolina and parts of Pennsylvania. I absolutely love that country. And yes, the Ozarks are absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Wheel Burner from Canada. Okay. Man, how are you guys doing in Canada? That's what I'm doing now. 34 hours with a load. This is Jackknife TV. That's what I'm doing now. 34 hours with a load on my way to Fairfield, Ohio from Little Rock. Okay. Hey, Tommy Unfiltered's in the house. Tommy, if you're still here, man, I know you're getting grief because you're making videos about it. I love what you're doing, man. I love what you're doing. So keep doing it, brother. Keep doing it. For all you that don't know, Tommy Unfiltered got out of trucking. Well, he's still doing trucking, I'll say daytime work, but then he started his own like junk hauling business. And Tommy Unfiltered, I'm going to say this. I thought about you the other day because I drove by a company that had trailers that on the side of them said, you know, junk haulers, demolition, and everything like that. And they had 2 trailers outside of their building. And then I looked down at their building and all their trucks and trailers weren't in the building. So they were out doing stuff. So you're right. The trash game is a big deal. And I know you're getting heat from people, but keep doing what you're doing, Tommy. Nevada. I meant to message you. Thank you. You know what I'm talking about. I hope you're doing well. Everybody go watch him. We're doing the same thing right now, Nevada, you know, searching that load board, trying to help people. Your last video on how you shared side by side dispatch and then self dispatch, super good video. I will say this. I have a video that might be coming out that I've already made very similar to yours. I am not stealing your content. But yeah, I watched that video and I want to say thank you. For all you that don't know, Nevada mentioned my name and it helped build a small channel. So thank you. Sterling's in the house. What's going on, Sterling? How are you doing today, brother? I went live because you're not live. Sterling's quickly turning into the live machine. And asks great questions. If you haven't stopped by one of Sterling's lives, go check him out. And you know what? Sterling does more than just trucking. And that's what I want to grow this channel into. Go watch his channel. He's got videos of him driving through like these amazing mountain ranges and like the redwood forest on his motorcycle. Super cool stuff. Super cool stuff. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? Jackknife TV says, I would say $1.50 under right now is pretty much unsustainable. 2 miles, well, I guess it depends. Yeah, Jackknife, I agree, man. That's where we have to be savvy, man. And I know you're a savvy guy. I know you're a smart guy. I know you deal. I mean, I've seen you on DIY Semi, and like I said, I learned stuff from people that have been in this, been doing what I'm doing longer than me. Yeah, but that's where we have to be savvy, man. And I know Nevada, if you're still in here, man, Nevada and I talked one day, and we're sharing ideas because we're doing the same thing right now. And Nevada made a comment on his video yesterday about it short hauls, and if he sees a short haul that pays good, he jumps on it right now. So I know Nevada's changing some of the things he does as a team to be profitable as a business. And I'm sure it's, you know, different to structure short hauls for a team that's used to running across country. I mean, I'll talk to Nevada one day and he'll be in like Ohio, and the next day I talk to him, he's up in like freaking Washington State. Like, I was shocked because that happened. I talked to him one day, and I want to say like the next day he was 1,800 miles away from where he was. So the fact that he's changing up some of the things he does, being savvy as a business owner and a self-dispatch guy, like that's what we have to do right now. And I know you are the same way, Jackknife. I mean, I've never talked to you like one-on-one, but I've seen you in lives and I've seen you on other people's lives. And I know that you're a savvy guy and you're smart. And that's what we have to be right now. Sorry, I'm skipping through a lot of comments because I miss them. So sorry. Nevada says, hit the thumbs up. Yeah, do that for me. I appreciate it. The Bucky Show says it's true that you say we are in a recession right now and inflation at the same time. Yeah, people don't want to talk about it. And, I don't know what like guidelines are on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm obviously not a big channel that gets any money off of YouTube. So maybe I'm able to be a little bit more like liberal in what I say. But yeah, like we're definitely in a recession. When bread's $4 a loaf and your milk, I mean, yeah, people don't want to talk about, man. And when you have somebody being interviewed and they say, "Oh, why are you complaining? Inflation only went up an inch." Oh, that is the most frustrating because that is coming from somebody that has no realistic look on what the people are dealing with. And if that inflation jumps an inch, that means some people lose their houses. Some people lose everything. That ain't right. And we cannot have a leader say that. We cannot have somebody say, why are we complaining when inflation only went up an inch? Coming from somebody that said things about a previous president that might not have agreed with how he conducted stuff, right? We might not have, or certain people might not have, but at least he said it and like tried to put in action, right? And then you have somebody telling us not to worry. We should be worried. We should be worried. James Clark, good afternoon or good morning, man. I don't think I recognize your name. I've done this since 1987. Okay, we got an old school trucker in here. This is awesome. I am on a sabbatical right now with plans of getting back in mid-October. Can't get out of my blood. Yeah, James, trucking, I've been in this industry 23 years. It's in my blood. It's a complete love-hate relationship because everything that I own in my life and things that I've been able to do in other like businesses are because of trucking. Everything I own is because of trucking. But I've sacrificed a lot. I've missed out on a lot. Um, and I thought becoming an owner operator would make it, sorry, it's kind of windy here in Minnesota today. Very nice fall day. But I understand where you're coming from, James, about it being in your blood. I'll never get out of the industry. I'm sure I'll always be involved in trucking in some way or another because I see what it's given me in my life. Is it the easiest life? Absolutely not. But I know I wouldn't be where I am today in life without trucking. I was looking at a load that paid $1.20 from Phoenix going out to Houston, flatbed. I was going to take a decent paying load into Phoenix, but it was only paying $350 and I would need more. Yeah. See, that's what we have to do. And Jackknife, you know what I don't like seeing? I don't like seeing us be idle. I don't like seeing us sit. And I don't know how long we're able to sit right now. Um and I don't think any of us should work for free. But sitting, if you sit for a day or two, that's money that you're never going to get back. Like you're never going to get it back. And I don't know what the right thing to do is right now. I have my opinion, but it's tough out there. And I can't imagine being in that spot like, oh, do I sit or that's tough, man. Nevada's I just skipped a bunch of comments, guys. I am so sorry. Nevada's dropping comments. Jackknife TV says if you can follow Dave Ramsey's teaching and actually keep it, you can set yourself up pretty good. So Jackknife, that's how I became an owner operator, man. I was debt free, minus my house, just because I bought an expensive house. Not I did not extend myself buying my house, but I bought a house when I chose to buy a house in the area I wanted to live in. And it happened to be kind of an expensive area. What I paid for my house is a lot less than all the houses around me because my house never hit the market. I knew who owned the house that I'm in, and I knew that they were in trouble. So I was able to get the house at a very good deal. But yeah, I followed Dave Ramsey. I set myself up. I had money. And I think it's important to do that. And I think it's important, especially right now, to live your life kind of the way Dave Ramsey has taught us to. And I'm not perfect at it by any stretch, but I don't want to owe people. I don't ever want somebody to come to my house and like say they're taking something because I owe them. I just don't ever want to do that. Tommy Unfiltered, right? Oh, good, Tommy. I'm glad you were still in here. Business is picking up. Good, man. I'm happy for you, Tommy. And like I said, man, I know you're getting grief, and I know if you're still in here, I'll be honest with you about something. You're defending your actions, which I don't think you need to do. I will say some of us like trucking, and never mind. Never mind, man. You should not be attacked. Absolutely not. And the people that attack you obviously aren't business savvy like you are. Sterling, the next video is some absolutely amazing Arizona footage. Please watch it on a big screen. I don't ramble much until the end of the video. Thank you everyone for the support. Might go live tonight. Well, if you go live tonight, maybe I can check you out if I'm got a little downtime. I got a full day planned with the wife, which is much needed. Like much needed. You know, we we have 3 kids. One of them is off at college now. The other 2, one's almost 18, like in March will be 18, the other's 15. So like we're finally able to like get out and do stuff solo. You know what I mean? Like get out and just be with our, like, we don't have to be parents or like be around 100% of the time. So it's nice to get out of the house with the wife and do something. I can tell you, though, being savvy and smart doesn't always translate into profitable business. At this point, it's almost a lot more luck. And trust me, I've tried heavily to gain some direct customers. Yeah, and like I said, Jackknife, I'm not trying to come across pompous. And I'm fortunate. I'm not pretending I'm not fortunate. I'm leased onto a carrier that is probably the most savvy individual I know, and beats that phone up Monday through Friday, 12 to 14 hours a day. I do think that luck played a role in that because I leased onto a carrier that was starting to grow his carrier. But I think over the course of time, the work and stuff that I've done has led me to where I sit today. And, you know, I know you're right. Being savvy doesn't always mean profitability. But like I said, I do believe sometimes understanding that to get from point A to your meat and potatoes load requires that savvy decision of, is this just going to pay for my fuel to get me there? And that sucks. Like that's a hard pill to swallow. But sometimes, excuse me, that's disgusting. But sometimes that's the decision we make. You know, I have another business that I have not shared about on YouTube because it's something I don't feel comfortable sharing. I think it would leak out too much of like who I am, like personally. I will say it's in real estate, and yeah, same thing. Like real estate is as cutthroat of a business than anything I know. It's even more cutthroat than trucking. Like 1 minute you think you have won, and literally within a 24-hour span, you feel like, holy cow, I made a mistake. You know what I mean? It's not easy. James Clark says, I have self-dispatched for about 5 years. I found working with the same people sometimes work great for me. Yeah. And that's a tough thing to do too, because the reality is when we're sitting here on YouTube, and I'm sure as a trucker, you watch YouTube trucking videos just like I do. We've kind of been brainwashed into thinking brokers, how do I say this? Because they're not our friends. They're not. And in the end of the day, they don't care about us. But developing that relationship with certain brokers or certain shippers, because some shippers are actually the broker too. Like they've cut out the middleman. So sometimes developing relationships with those people is a way for you to stay afloat. I just shared there's a lane that I run consistently that you're going to get, it's on the load board for 850. I guarantee you, if you call that broker, you might be able to get 950. Somehow I'm still able to get 1100 on the lane. That is solely because of running their freight and doing stuff for them when the market was absolutely insane and I could have got more money to do it. Right now, they still reach out to me to haul their freight. They know they're going to pay more than, flip-flop trucking to have me haul it. But also they know it's a direct pickup in the morning, deliver that night, and it's a tight window. They know I'm going to get it there because I've done it for them 200 times. They know I'm not going to fall off the load. That's a relationship that I've developed that keeps me moving. Costs have gone up 20 to 50%, and the economy is either treading water or possibly starting to drown. Jackknife, I agree with you, man. I'm not trying to say we're in good spots, because we're not. I do agree with you. The only thing I would say is certain parts of my business that I thought were going to be more expensive aren't. Like my insurance costs, things like that have not changed for me. I don't know if that's due to 23 years of driving experience and a clean driving record and clean inspections and stuff certain things that I thought were going to jump up dramatically haven't. Now, I'll also say this. Fuel costs for a long time were really starting to affect me. However, over the last month and a half, 2 months, I've seen a dramatic decrease in the margins of my fuel costs. I don't know if that's because of the carrier that I'm leased onto's fuel discount cards or what, but I'm paying under $4 a gallon for fuel right now. Maybe that's because I'm choosing to fill up in different areas, but my fuel costs have dropped dramatically. And I've improved my fuel economy on my truck. And I'm about to do a video on things I purchased that are going to help me out more, which people don't like. I mean, let's be honest. People don't want to put air tabs, don't want to put wheel covers, don't want to put things on their truck that don't make their truck look cool. Well, I don't care if my truck looks cool. That truck is nothing but a cash machine for me, and I want it to generate as much cash as it can. So if that means spending $600-700 and seeing a return on my investment within 3 months and then start saving even more, I'm going to do it. If anybody remembers the 70s, which I know, but inflation went up and the economy, stagnant. That's hard for everybody. Yeah, it wasn't just the 70s, right, Jackknife? I mean, I'm only 42, but I remember the 80s kind of being like that, right? Wasn't the 80s maybe 83, 84? I was only a kid, but I remember interest rates were really high. I remember the first house my parents bought. I want to say they bought a house with 14% interest. You know what I mean? I think that's how things were back then. you know. I don't, obviously I was too young to like really know, but it was crazy. You jump through it. Deadheading definitely brought my breakdown this week. I've only I've only down to 280 on all miles, which is 1900. I did spend one day because rates were that bad. Okay, yeah, but if we're profitable not running a lot of miles, like that's something I'm really starting to work on is trying to operate more efficiently. I just don't like sitting. Like that's not in my, I just don't like it. And I haven't been put in the position where I have to sit yet. You know, so I'm probably talking out of my rear end right now. I just haven't been put in a position where I've had to sit and wait. Um and I hope I don't have to. Jackknife TV says, Tommy, making money is making money. Knowing when to pull out your losses by investing in a less volatile segment is just better business decision. Dude, fully agree with you, Jackknife. Fully agree with you. And Tommy did it right. And the fact that he has to defend himself shows that there's certain people that think they have the answers to everything and they really have no clue what they're talking about. And you know what? I know he does other things that like generate him income too. You know, I just feel bad that people have to defend them. And maybe that's because he's a bigger channel. You know what I mean? He was a bigger trucking channel. Um, but the fact that somebody found a way to like be home every day and make his bills, I mean, like you talk about people being rich, right? And rich is all dependent on like your personal opinion of what being rich is. You know, is your opinion meaning you have a whole ton of money in the bank account, or does it mean that you're able to go on vacations a couple of times a year with your family, you have a nice house, you're able to enjoy family time? To some people that's rich. You know what I mean? That's rich to me. Not worrying about the day-to-day bills is rich to me. You know what I mean? So everybody's opinion is different. Probably this is Jackknife. Probably all get together and do like a round table session about our thoughts. Just jumped on me about our thoughts on economy, trucking, and just how to make better business decisions. That would be kind of fun, Jackknife. And here's the thing. My dog just took off. Xena. What are you doing? Come on up here. Say hello to YouTube. Come on. Here, we'll show you my dog real quick. Xena, say hi to YouTube. Jackknife, that might be kind of cool, man. Here's the problem. I don't want to be part of the round table because I am very naive. And I think people like you, Cash, DIY Semi, maybe a couple others get on a table and talk, because people like me learn a lot from that. Assy McGee's in the house. The sky is falling. Assy McGee, do you want to share on this live feed what you have up for sale right now? Feel free to, man. Feel free to. Probably get together. Okay, I read that one. DUI Semi is in the house. Yeah, get a job, slacker. I got a job, bro. My truck's in the shop. Steve ND86. Does that stand for North Dakota, maybe? I used to live in North Dakota. Might not. If it doesn't consist of North Dakota, I apologize. First time. I don't recognize your name, so it might be your first time here. I'm digging your channel and attitude. 20 months on my authority. Tanking in North Dakota. Mac Power. You got a Mac? Oh, yeah, you got a Mac there. Nice. Yeah, you are from North Dakota. Man, I used to work out in North Dakota. I lived in Minot and worked out in the oil fields. And I'll tell you what, I know it's flat ground, but that's some tough trucking out there in the winter. I was on Highway 2 during a snowstorm that the entire interstate got shut down. And actually, they sent out the National Guard to pick people up on the highways. it was pretty crazy out there. But welcome to the channel, Steve. I'm glad you're digging it. I don't know if it's everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoy doing it. Assy McGree says, "Rich is in the eye of the beer holder." That's right, or the coffee cup holder, which I'm out of coffee. Got one little swallow left. I'll tell you what, if you guys aren't familiar, get yourself a good tin coffee cup. They're fantastic. I love these tin coffee cups. We got a couple of them. The Minnesota kid, welcome Minnesota kid. I've started seeing you leave more comments and stuff, and whereabouts in Minnesota are you from? How do you get stuck in Lucky Charms cereal? I don't get stuck in that. Nice, thanks. Yeah, no problem, Steve. How do you like that? Looks like, is that an Anthem that you have? It's hard to see. If that's an Anthem, how do you like it? And what year is it? You know what? Maybe, no, it's the same truck I have. That's a Pinnacle, right? Good truck, man. I'll tell you what, Mack trucks are very, very stout trucks. Like the chassis is crazy strong. They're not the most comfortable ride. They're not the most comfortable ride. They're not the greatest fuel economy truck, but they're tough as hell. Hey, honey, is that you? Are you done? Can you guys hold on a second? Are you done with your treatment though? No. Okay. I'll wrap it up. Sorry guys, I just wanted to make sure the wife was Minnesota kids from South St. Paul. No, dude, we're right by each other, bro. I don't want to say a city I live in, but yeah, I'm not far from you, Minnesota kid. But I'm gonna wrap this up. My wife is done getting ready and doing her stuff, morning routine. So I want to spend time with the family. That's why I chose to come home this weekend. Sterling, if you go live later tonight, I'll catch you. Jackknife. Here, I'm gonna put my email in the link here. Email me. You know what? I forgot what email I use. I'll have to look. I'll get that back. But okay, yeah, here's what Assy McGee's got something for sale. He's got a 2000 Freightliner Columbia with her Mercedes motor in it, 600,000 miles. There are some things about that truck that I do know about that actually kind of make it an appealing truck. And then he's got a dry van, a 2012 dry van for sale as well. Assy McGee, drop your link in this chat real quick. And go check out Assy McGee, and maybe if you want to buy a truck, maybe you can make a deal. I know it, like a truck and trailer for sale right now. I don't know what he's looking to get out of them, but he's got 2 things for sale right now. Yeah, you can chat with him. But I am gonna jump off. I want to spend time with the wife and the daughter. And yeah, hey Zena, say goodbye to YouTube. Say goodbye. Anybody else talk to their pets? Anybody else think their pets understand what they're saying? I love that dog. I grew up with big dogs, German Shepherds, Huskies. This is the best dog. Yeah, great dog. She's a mutt. She's mixed with like pit bull, hound dog, and a little bit of rot in her. But she's a great dog. Not very big. She's what, 50 pounds, hon? I think she's like 45, 50 pounds. Great dog. Yes, you are. But yeah, I'm going to jump off. Hope everybody has a great day. Jackknife dropped his link. Steve giving me a thumbs up. Yeah. Hey, give me a thumbs up on this video real quick. Do you guys like the vlogs I'm doing lately? I know they're long, and I know our attention spans aren't the greatest these days, but I'm doing this LTL stuff. I've changed up what I'm doing as an owner operator. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I hope everybody has a great day. If you're out there trucking, be safe. And until next time, you know what it is. Keep on trucking. Take it easy, guys and gals. Shannon Thomas.